Roger. Here we go. Wait's good. Yeah, A-frame. Everyone should be logging in, and you should be selecting the OSUT training slot. And read on Hoffman. Private Hoffman, what's your ETA? Hoffman, there? Probably not there. Oh, there he is. He's connected to server. Who said that? Who's saying that right now? Okay. Is your game crashing as soon as you get in, or what? Okay, I know the problem is. Go to your Arma 3 directory. Let me know you're there. Make sure your Arma 3 is closed as well. Alright, do you know where, open your DLL folder before that says DLL. Alright, you should be seeing some DLL files opened up. Oh, not DLL files, but you should be seeing some files that are named DLL. Okay. Do not touch any folder that says times 86 or times 64. Do not touch the README file. But anything else in there that has .dll, delete it. Just don't touch the folders in there. Any of the folders in there, so don't touch times 86 or 64. Do not touch the README file. Yes, delete any DLL files that aren't in those folders. Alright, good. So I think the ones you should have left is README times 64 and times 86, correct? Alright, go ahead and load it to server. Shouldn't kick you out this time. Do not know. I just know the fix for it. Yep. Okay, so while we wait for wait to connect them, I'll just start from here. So welcome to OSUT, which would be a 4-day long course, which comprises of basically for 3 days for instruction, and then your last day would be your practical exercise and your graduation. Within OSA is basically it's a blend of your basic combat training and your advanced individual training, all within these 2 weeks. So every soldier like yourself, um, foremost starts as a rifleman, and then OSA will give you your skills that you need to get into the billet that you or your MOS that you desire. And our goals here in OSA is basically for you to achieve these 5 individual infantry skills, and those are shoot, move, communicate, survive, and sustain. You're basically gonna learn some basic introduction to tactics used right here in the 506, and I'm gonna give you the basic templates to adapt, and it's your job to adapt as needed whenever you need be. So you could always fill in any extra information that we tell you within your notes. So if you haven't done so already, make sure you grab a pen and paper so you can write down anything we tell you, because at the end of day 4, you will be given an oral quiz to make sure that you've learned everything, and it's basically a win or lose situation. If you do not answer that question that we give you correctly, you will have to be recycled. Now I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself. I am Sergeant Smith. I am the senior instructor for Class Bravo. My primary billet is Havoc 22 Bravo Fire Team Leader. And then with me, Sergeant Margietta. I don't know if he's still there or not. Okay. Thank you. And our helpers here today, Sergeant Loster. He's. Oh, go ahead. No, I was going to basically introduce you, but you got it. And then to my left, Private Gillen. All right, awesome. All right. So as we are a realism unit, there are some things that we do touch on as basically, excuse me, basically your bearing demeanor. And what I mean by this is that whenever you're addressing your NCOs and officers and warrant officers, whenever you address NCOs such as corporal or higher, you're going to address them by their rank and then by their name. So for instance, you can address me by Sergeant Smith, Sergeant Loster by Sergeant Loster, and Sergeant Margietta by Sergeant Margietta. Now, for ranks of sergeant to sergeant first class, you don't have to say their full rank, you just address them by sergeant. However, for first sergeant, master sergeant, or sergeant major, you're going to say the full rank and then a name. So right now we have, within the company is First Sergeant Brewer, so you can address him by first sergeant. Not sergeant, but first sergeant. Now, there is another informal name that he is given, which is top, but you don't have the right or the respect to be able to call him by top. You have to earn that. To address officers, you address them by their rank as the same thing, or you could just say to them as in sir. So you either say their rank or sir. For addressing warrant officers, you address them by Mr. or Mrs., then their name. And then chief warrant officers also have an informal calling, which is chief. However, like I said, you haven't earned that right to call them by chief. And then lastly, there are some ways of calling IDs and attention IDs is for any one of the rank, any NCO that enters the channel that is higher than the one that's currently in here. So if the first sergeant joins this channel, then you will say IDs. Now calling the room or the class to attention, there would have to be an officer that joins the channel. So if the first sergeant is already in this channel and a staff sergeant joins the channel or a sergeant first class joins this channel, you don't have to call the room to IDs. If a lieutenant is in this channel and another lieutenant joins, you don't have to call the room to attention. But if a captain joins in, then you call the room to attention. Any questions with anything I told you so far? Okay. Only in the official channel like this right here. Yep, all in the official setting. Now, lastly, for addressing questions and asking questions or making comments, you make sure you type either a Q for questions or a C for any comment, and you'll type that inside channel. And that's if Sergeant Margetta and I are just babbling on, giving a lecture, and you have a question or comment, you type a Q or C to let us know that you have a question or comment, and then at a break we'll call on you. Now, if there is a pause or a break while we're talking, then you can say question Sergeant Smith, or sorry, question Sergeant Margetta. And then make sure you say your name, your rank as well, so we know who's calling the question. Now, within the whole 3 days, make sure that you give us questions. Because if you are confused on any content and you don't address it to us, then basically you're making yourself you're showing to us that we haven't taught you anything and that you weren't learning. Yeah, go ahead. Thanks, Sergeant Margetta. So yeah, make sure you access any questions if you're confused on anything, because everything reflects on us will be taught you. So do the rest of the portion inside the classroom as it is needed in there. So go ahead and do a left face. Alright, go ahead and follow in behind Private Wait. Go ahead and follow me to classroom. Hey, Mr. Chakra. Alright, so what you're gonna do is that you're gonna take off your hard covers, or your sock covers, I should say. You're gonna put it in your vest or backpack. So whenever you enter a room, You can make sure that your soft covers and your shades. Go ahead and go inside and stand by the doorway. Alright, come over here. Go ahead and grab a radio out from this box. Do not touch the rifle on here. Alright, go ahead and fill in the front row seats. Yep, not even worry about it. To find your seat, you use your interaction key on the seat. That should be your Windows key by default. There you go. Alright, so here in S3, we're basically responsible to ensure that every soldier is prepared to succeed within the unit after you graduate. So there should be nothing that's taken credit for, as the sergeant said before. And every soldier is given the knowledge and skill to thrive within the unit. So we're responsible for making sure that you're trained. So if any information that was given to you and that you did not basically demonstrate correctly is reflection upon us. So make sure that you actually take notes of everything you've learned on and ask any questions that you're confused on anything else. With the 506, the 506 is basically a global brotherhood, and I'll explain that later on. So we are a brotherhood and like-minded people, and we keep that point of mind. So we are basically comprised of many people who are either served within the unit and who are currently serving in the unit. I mean, I'm not sorry, served in the military or are currently serving into the military. So, by however, does that mean that everybody who actually served in the military, or people who actually haven't served in the military as well? So you don't have to actually be in the military to actually be within this unit, but we're comprised of people who are. So within OSUT, we're the place where we take responsibility for yourself and take care of your brothers. It has a big, large, significant meaning. This is basically a place for you to build friendships and develop yourself as a leader. So because we take our responsibility as NCO trainers seriously, the bar is kept very high within OSUT. So you'll be instructed on specific procedures for performing tasks, and we expect everyone to follow the procedures as discussed and demonstrated by the numbers. And what I mean by the numbers, basically, when we demonstrate it to you, you're giving it back to us as 100%. So everything we taught to you is the same way that you're showing us. So basically, the way how we're going to instruct to you is basically the way of explain. So we'll say it to you, then we'll demonstrate it to you, and then it's your turn to basically practice on it until you're proficient at it. So basically, our approach of training is explain, demonstrate, and then practice. And basically, we'll try to cover every topic there is, and we'll follow that same format if time's permitting. All right, so everyone picked up radio, correct? All right. Now each radio has several programmable channels, and then within that, it contains their own frequency, allowing everyone else to actually communicate with one another to their assigned channels. So within your radio, you can actually assign your own frequency. So let's go ahead and actually, let's not open up radios just yet. So each frequency represents a network which corresponds to your billet. And you will hear terms such as TeamNet, SquadNet, or PlatoonNet, so on and so forth. That's just basically the frequencies that each element has. So that just means that each of those elements or teams have their own frequency assigned to their own network. So for example, let's say a squad within the first platoon, which is having 1-1, their squad net, or basically this means that they're the first squad within the first platoon within the Alpha company, so that's why they're having 1-1. basically their assigned frequency would be 111. Now, for within the two teams within that squad, the first team, their net would be 111.1, and the second team would be 111.2. And we'll go a little bit further to depth with that later on. Now, for you to be able to find um, everyone's net within the whole company is basically you just click on their TeamSpeak channel or look onto their forum page. It will tell you their assigned networks within the team and within the squad. So within OSUT, you're assigned your own network and the corresponding frequencies in that network. So if you go ahead and write this down, since there's only one squad, the first squad, your net would be 100. So that's your frequency. The alpha team, the first team, their net would be 100.1. And then the second team, which is Bravo team, their frequency would be 100.2. So I'll reiterate. The first squad's net would be 100. Second squad's net would be 10. I'm sorry, the first team in the first squad, their net would be 100.1. And then the second team within the first squad, their net would be 100.2. So call signs have been established in the SOI, and they follow basically a logical order. So the call sign for Alpha Company in the 1st Battalion is Havoc. So within this whole company, our call sign is Havoc. So therefore, every call sign within this whole company will always have Havoc, and then following the according platoon and squad. So like I said earlier, for example, First Platoon and Alpha Company, their call sign would basically be Havoc 1. And then the first squad within that first platoon and Alpha Company, their call sign would be Havoc 1-1. Now each fire team within the squad is also given a designation of Alpha Fire Team, First Squad, First Platoon, which will logically follow as Havoc 1-1 Alpha. So the call sign within the whole company is Havoc. And then you have your calling station. Now, a calling station would be comprised of basically your squad and team within your call sign. So let me elaborate. Havoc 1-1 would be a calling station. The call sign in that calling station is what? What is Alpha's call sign? Alpha Company's call sign. Havoc. So let me reiterate real quick. So basically, whenever I ask you guys a question, you don't have to type a Q or C in chat. If you don't know the answer to the question, just say that you do not know. All right. So does everyone get the stance of a calling station? Okay. So basically, my calling station is basically Havoc 2-2 Bravo. Sergeant Lobster, what is your calling station? So basically, your calling station is based off of your squad and your platoon. So my calling station is Havoc 2-2 Bravo, which means I am the second platoon, and I'm part of the second squad, and I'm part of Bravo team, or the second team within that squad. So yeah, calling stations and forgot the difference between calling stations, calling sign is a little different. I mean, a little confusing and different, but you get understanding of it later on. So within OSUT, you'll be learning basically a squad level call signs, and that would be actual. So the squad leader, it would be known as actual. Now, Alpha Fire Team leader, his call sign, and he would be known as Alpha. And then the Bravo Fire Team leader, his call sign would be Bravo. Everyone tracking so far? So whenever you're communicating between other fire team leaders and squad leaders, you'll be basically using these informal call signs to distinguish between who is speaking within your whole squad net. So if you're talking to your squad leader, you just talk to him as actual. If you talk to another fire team leader within your squad, you refer to him as either Bravo or Alpha. These are your informal call signs within your whole squad net. But however, if you're talking to a higher echelon, such as your platoon net, you'll be using calling stations. Like I said before, Havoc 2-2 or Havoc 3-2, which is Sergeant Loster's calling station. Alright, let's go ahead and move on. Time for you guys to program your terrain. Alright, so for this whole portion, make sure you do not actually transmit over your short range radio, which is cap locks. You later on you'll test to be able to see if you actually are on your right net. So please do not press your cap lock key. Alright, so to basically open your short range radio, you would press Control Papa. Does everyone have theirs up? So within your short range radio, you have many various options on here to configure it, such as the that middle button to the top, that black button that has 1-2 on it. Between that gray and that black long line, you're able to increase and decrease the volume of your radio. Um, in that little yellow box within your radio that has C1, that is your current channel, or your channel indicator. It'll tell you what current channel you're on right now. And then to the right of that is basically your frequency indicator. It will tell you what the current frequency is. Now, some buttons for you to know. Below that is a box of a whole bunch of other buttons. CLR is basically will clear out your frequency. So if you click it right now, it'll clear out your frequency and allow you to type in a new frequency. Below that is ENT. That basically means enter. It allows you to enter your frequency or input your frequency into that channel. And then you have PRE, allows you to basically go to other channels within your radio. So if you press that top button, the plus arrow, that basically bring you to the next channel. And if you press that minus sign on that button, it'll take you to the previous channel. So let's make sure we're on C1. Is everyone on it? Alright. Now the right arrow, and do not press it, basically will put your radio on speaker, and we will never use that. And OSUT, and you most likely will never use it when you get billeted. It's basically transmit your radio to speakers where everyone around you will hear that broadcast. And it's very, very annoying if someone's on speakers and you're walking around and I'm hearing the radio over my ears and I'm hearing it over your radio at the same time as well. It just causes a lot of feedback. And at the same time, people with headphones will basically get an ear rape from that. So now put your radio on speakers. You'll learn further on in day 3 for what you can use your speaker option for. Now the left arrow allows you to set your channel, an additional channel. Then lastly, to the left of that left arrow, which looks like 2 parentheses, this is basically your stereo settings. It allows you to be able to allow the radio, that specific channel, to go over your left ear or your right ear. Now, if you accidentally put your radio to speakers, just press that right button again. It should say headphones on your bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Alright, let's go ahead and input our frequency. So all of you will be on Alpha Team Net, since there's only 4 of you for now. So what you're going to do, you're going to go ahead and press that clear frequency button, or you could highlight that frequency area and then press backspace, whatever to your liking. So you're going to press the CLR button, and then you're going to input 100.1 using your numpad on your keyboard. And then you're going to press the enter button. Did everyone press enter button and got their frequency set? Yes, Private Hotman. Okay. Uh, all right. Open up Teams. Are you on TeamSpeak, correct? Press tools. If it's not working, then that means that you haven't installed the plugin. Maybe you have to reinstall the plugin again. All right. So once you've transmitted, once you entered your primary channel, so C1 or also known as your primary channel will always be your team net, unless you go to a unless you get to a higher leadership, then your primary channel would then be your squad net if you're a squad leader. But for now, your primary channel will always be your team net. Now, once you press enter, then let's go ahead and switch towards our next channel. So either you press that plus arrow, or you can use your numpad. So I'm gonna press 2 to go to my second channel. And if you just want to click that plus arrow to go to the next channel, you can do that as well. So now on C2, you're going to click clear frequency. Then you're going to type 100 and then press enter again. Let me know once you have done that on your second channel. Going to go ahead and go towards your left arrow. Then you're going to click on that, and that should make that channel now your dish channel. So it should say A2 now. Alright. Then you're going to go to your stereo settings button, which is to the left of that left arrow. You're going to click on it twice. And on your bottom right hand side, it should say additional right only. Everyone tracking? Johnson should say, not Hoffman. Alright. Let's go back to our primary channel, which is C1. So either press that minus button or press 1 or a numpad. You're going to go to that stereo settings button again. And you're going to press it once. And on your bottom right hand side, it should say left only. Wade and Johnson tracking. Alright. So if I transmit over primary channel, if I press my cap lock key, you should hear me in your left ear right now. So you should hear me in your left ear. If I transmit over additional channel, you should hear me in your right ear. So you should hear me in your right ear now. So basically, if you're running, this is not black magic. You're actually able to listen to both nets at the same time, and you're able to transmit over both nets at the same time without having to switch your channels. So if you want to know how to transmit over your additional channel, which will be your squad net, you go ahead and press your tango key. Don't do that right now. Don't do it right now. But you should know how to transmit over your additional channel by pressing your tango key. Now this will probably be done if you're a fire team leader. You'll do this, basically have your primary net as your team net and then your additional net as your squad net. So you'll be able to hear your squad leader and hear your team at the same time and talk to either or at any given time. Now if you're just a fire team member, you don't have additional channel. You don't have that. You don't have your squad net as your channel. You just have it as C2 and you'll be on your primary channel. So if you're a fire team member, you're not monitoring your additional channel or your squad net. You're only monitoring your team net. Am I understood? All right, awesome. Yeah, I hear you. With that all done, we'll go ahead and move on to our pro words. And these are basically your procedure words, I should say. Now, before I begin, we do use phonetic numbers and phonetic alphabet within the NATO standards. We don't use civilian phonetic alphabet, which is Atom, and whatever else on there. We use the NATO phonetic alphabet, which is Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, and so on and so forth. And if you want to know what those are and get some practice into it, you can do that after OSUT. Also, we use phonetic numbers, and those are basically 3 would be said as tree, 5 would be said as 5, and then 9 would be said as niner. So 5 basically it doesn't have a V, it has an F, so F-I-F-E. So it'd be said as 5. And we use these phonetic numbers basically to distinguish or assist the person who's listening on the other net to know what you're actually saying. Also, we don't use numbers as in groupings, like such as 150. Somebody might think you say 115 instead of 150 at some times. So you'll say them as an individual. So if I said, instead of saying 150, I would say 150 instead of 150. Everyone understand what I'm saying? All right. We go ahead and begin the pro words. The first pro word is you, this is me. This is what you use every time when you're establishing binary net. So whenever you're establishing binary control over a net, you use this, you wait for a response to receive this. So once a response from the receiving party is sent, the net now belongs to those two parties. So if I establish my net with Sergeant Margiata, basically, the net belongs to both of us if he responds to that. Now the one who established the connection and the one who responds to it are basically ones in charge of that net. Move on to the next one is over. Over basically means that you're done with transmitting with that message and you're waiting for the response with the other party. So both of you still have control over that net. But over just means that you're done with your transmission. Now it's the other person's turn to transmit back to you. Alright, move on to the next one. Next one is out. Out means that you're done with transmission and you no longer require a response. And in all, this means that you guys no longer have control over the net. So then other people or other parties can now transmit over that net if need be. So, over and the other pro word out are not the same thing. I'm sorry. They cannot be used together, I should say. So over and out is just something used in Hollywood which does not make sense. Like we said earlier, over means that you're done your transmission, you're waiting for a response. Out means you're done your transmission, you no longer need a response, and you no longer have control of your net. So I understood that over and out is not the same thing, and you should not be using them at the same time. Now, do not use out. Primarily, the person initiating a conversation is usually the one who would be saying out. So if I initiate a conversation with Sergeant Margiota, I should be one saying out. Now, however, this can be ignored or surpassed if someone in leadership can out to you. So if you initiate a conversation with me, and then I say out to you, then that is okay, because that means that usually the person in leadership has to talk over his platoon net and has other nets he has to speak over. So that's why he'll primarily would say out to you. Everyone tracking from that part so far? Alright. The next pro word is break. This primarily means that you need a second to say the next word. So for instance, this means that your message, either you can use this if your message is long and you're trying to break between parts, say your message, or you just need a second or a quick pause over the net that's maybe 30 seconds or less for you to transmit. 30 seconds or less for you to transmit over net. So for instance, if I'm speaking to you and have a long message for me to say, I'll say, Alpha, this is actual break. I need you to maneuver bearing 506, and that's not the bearing because it only goes to 360. But I need you to move bearing 506, approximately 100 distance, to grid coordinates break 106, 208 break. You should be meeting up with another squad over there. Over. So basically, I'm throwing out a message for you, and at the same time, I'm giving you a chance to open up your map to find the grid coordinates, and I'm shortening the long message so then you can understand everything at the same time. So you use break if you need time to regather your thoughts and continue your traffic, or are you trying to give a person enough time to gather everything you're saying to them? Everyone understand the uses of break? Alright, the next pro word is that follows with this, a variant of break, is break, break, break. So you saying break 3 times. Break, break, break allows you to break into a conversation. So if two parties are already have control of your net, and then you have something in emergency to say over that net, such as a BTR rolling up on you guys' position, you can say over that net, break, break, break. Give it some time, about maybe 1 or 2 seconds, so then everyone else can hear it. So you say break, break, break. Got a BTR come in bearing 106 for approximate distance 100 meters and closing. You could do that. So break, break, break basically allows you to break into a traffic that's already been used. So everyone tracking from what I'm saying from there? Alright. Next pro word is wait over. Wait over just primarily means that you need 30 seconds to a minute to respond to that last transmission that was sent to you. So if you're under a firefight, you can say wait over. So, but however, the traffic's still under control between you and that party that just sent a message to you. Now, along with that, the next pro word is wait out. Wait out means that you need longer than a minute to respond to that last transmitted message to you, and that you and the other person in that net should basically free out the network so then other people could transmit over that network or over that frequency. So wait over means that you need 30 seconds to a minute to respond to the last transmission, and then wait out means that you need a minute or greater to respond to last transmission, and so that as a result you need to free out that traffic so then other people can transmit over that net. All right. Next pro word is Roger, and it basically means what it says there. You received the last transmission and you understand it. And then that same thing with copy. Copy means that you understand the last transmission that was sent to you. But don't. Yes, you can say Roger, or you can say copy. Alright, the next pro word is Wilco. Wilco means that you've received the last transmission, you understand it, and that you will comply. Now this is something completely different than Roger. So you'll never say Roger Wilco, but that's something that's used in Hollywood as well. So if you just think about it, if you say Roger Wilco, you're just saying I copy, then you're saying I copy again, and I will comply. So just say Wilco. Am I understood that way? So would you use Roger and Wilco at the same time, in the same traffic? Okay. Alright, next pro word is say again. This basically means that you did not receive the last transmission, or you want someone to understand your last transmission, or you want someone to retransmit all of your last transmission, or you can use with all after or all before. So I could say again all after the grid coordinates, or say again all before the grid coordinates. So there's 3 ways you could say it. Either you can just say again because you did not understood the last transmission, or you could say again as in you want them to retransmit, wants the other party to retransmit what you just said, or you can say again all after this part, or say again all before this part. So everyone understands what I'm saying from there. Okay. Now, do not use repeat. Yes, probably wait. Did you try to change your frequency? Make sure you close out your radio. Press escape. Yep, something I forgot to point out to you guys, whenever you enter your frequency, make sure you press enter multiple times, but sometimes it may not work the first time, and it'll give you that error message. If you press it multiple times, then it should set it in there. Alright, so yes, would say again, do not, yes, Private Hoffman. Yeah, go ahead. Can you hear me? Okay. Alright, Private Hoffman. You press Control P, is it working? Yep. Alright, awesome. Alright, so use your notes to set up that radio. Alright. Okay, good, awesome. Alright, so yeah, let's read it over again about say again. So like I said, say again is your alternative to the word repeat. You're not going to use the word repeat anytime within this whole unit, or your whole time in this unit. Reason for that is that repeat is basically a pro word specifically to call for fire, or calling any mortar fire, or for our rotary pilots to repeat the last gun run. So if this may never happen, if you say repeat, just no one may never hear it because they will never use that word. They never what should I say this? The mortar team will never take that order of repeat from a private or from a corporal anytime who's not actually a lieutenant or task force commander. They'll never use that word. Maybe take that order, but however, at times, repeat may be misunderstood, and they may not be able to distinguish who said that, so they may accidentally send out a mortar round to that same area, and friendlies may be going to that area that was just bombed. So do never use the word repeat. Always use say again. So you might have to actually practice over and over again and train yourself to saying say again and not repeat. Am I understood? Alright. Now, if you guys do decide to transfer over to Class Alpha Day 3 and Day 4, the First Sergeant will launch a mortar round between you guys if you're in an FTX. He will send out a mortar round between you guys if you say the word repeat. So please be careful. Alright. The next pro word is read back. Read back basically is what it says. You want the person or the other party to resend their entire radio transmission back to you, or in other ways, if you want the person who you just said it to, if you want them to read back what you just said. So it works in two ways. And basically what you say this is basically actual, this is alpha, read back last transmission over, or alpha, this is actual, read back what I last transmission, or you say I read back yada 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 how copy over. And that's response to a read back order. Now the next pro word is correction. So if you've messed up what you just said, you don't have to say you just say correction, grid coordinates yada yada yada. So basic correction means is if you made an error in your last transmission or in the current transmission you just said, and then you'll transmit or continue to the last word that you corrected. So for instance, if I gave you a grid coordinate saying, if I said alpha is actual, move the grid coordinates this and that over, then I could say alpha this is actual, correction, move the grid coordinates this and that, this and that. Everyone understand what I'm saying? Alright. Next pro word is interrogative. Interrogative basically is a request for confirmation to a previous order or last transmission, or this is for if you have a question. Some people would say interrogative after saying you this means, like for instance, alpha this is actually this is alpha interrogative over. This way it lets the other party know that you're about to send a question. Or you can use this to send your whole traffic. So you can just say actually this is alpha interrogative, where are we going again? So you can either use it whenever you're establishing your binary net or control, or you can just use it all together within your next transmission. Everyone understand what I'm saying? Next pro word is correct. Basically self-explanatory there. You basically tell the person that you are correct or what you have transmitted is correct. Next is wrong. And same thing there, self-explanatory. Your last transmission was incorrect, and the correct version is this. So whenever you say wrong, you got to make sure you say the correct version after you say wrong. So if someone said alpha, this is actual, Roger, remove it to grid coordinates 106385, I would say alpha, this is actual, wrong, move to grid coordinates 185086. Alright, next part word is affirmative. You're just saying correct from there, or yes. You do not use affirmative for the ways of Roger or responding to an order. So if I told you guys to move at this grid coordinates, you don't say affirmative, you will say Roger. So affirmative is just like you saying correct or yes. Everyone understand that part? Okay. So within your pre-combat checks, and this is the end. This is basically the end for your procedure words. At the end of your pre-combat checks, you will use or you would do your radio checks. So every soldier will set up the radios to their proper channels or frequencies based on their SOI. So within OSUT, you have your SOI, and I given that to you. Everyone knows what their squad net was and their alpha team net is, correct? Roger. Okay, awesome. Alright, let's go ahead and time for you guys to do your radio checks. So the way how I'm going to instruct it to you is the way how I want you to use it for the rest of your time within OSUT and when you graduate. Am I understood? Alright. So this is how you give out your radio checks. So you're going to use that pro word I said earlier, which is you, this is me. Because that basically lets the other party know that, hey, I'm talking to you. Alright. So the beginning person that wants to do his radio check, if you don't know if someone is in this that radio net, you would say any calling station on this net. This is Private Collins radio check on frequency 100.1. However, if you know that someone's already on that net and you know the call station you're going to transmit to, then you just say Private Wade, this is Private Collins radio check on frequency 100.1 over. So now I'm going to give you the full demonstration on how to see it. So I already know that Sergeant Margiotta is on this net, so I'm going to communicate with him. Are you able to speak right now, Sergeant Margiotta? Is your throat good? Alright. So I'm going to stay over our over the team net as well, guys, so you can hear over the net, over the radio. Sergeant Margiotta, this is Sergeant Smith, radio check on frequency 100.1 over. Sergeant Margiotta, this is Sergeant Smith, copy, out. So as you see there, I did the beginning part, which was Sergeant Margiotta, this is Sergeant Smith, radio check on frequency 100.1. over. So whenever you're trying to make sure your radio check is correct, how you're going to begin it is basically that way. So wherever you're going to say it to, you're going to say, "You, this is me, radio check on frequency 100.1 or whatever that is," and then you're going to end it with over. Now, if you're responding to this transmission, you would say, "You, this is me. I read you loud and clear," or you could say 5x5 or Lima Charlie on frequency. Then you say the net, and then you'll say over. So like we said earlier, Sergeant Mardia said, "Sergeant Smith, this is Sergeant Margietta. I read you loud and clear on frequency 100.1 over." And then if you're the one that initiated this radio check, you will end the traffic by saying either "You, this is me, Roger out," or "Copy out." Everyone understands and everyone copies that? Any questions? Yes and no. Alright, let's go ahead and you guys practice on this. So Collins, you're going to initiate it with Wade, and then Wade, once you're done, once Collins done initiating with you, then you'll initiate it with Halfman, and they'll continue going down the line. Hoffman, you'll initiate it with Johnson, then Johnson, you'll initiate it with Collins, and then end there. Alright, so Collins, go ahead and start it. Make sure you still say, "You, this is me," so they know that you're still talking to them. So go ahead, do that last part again, Collins. Alright, awesome. And there were little, just tiny bit mess ups at the beginning, which in the words I'm saying here, that was an excellent job at the beginning part for everyone else, because usually people would mess up at the beginning. So excellent job, guys, on that one. Alright, wait, continue. Do yours with Hop. Don't say over and out. You just say Hoffman, this is Wade, copy out. Yep, that's okay. Alright, Hoffman, were you transmitting over your radio? Alright, what frequency are you on right now? Okay, your T-Far is still not working, I think. Hoffman already knows how to do it. Don't worry about saying over your radio this time, Hoffman. Johnson, still say it on the radio, but let's continue this on. So Hoffman, say it to Johnson. Nope, make sure you say the frequency. No. You're good the first part. Hoffman, this is Johnson, and read you loud and clear over. You gotta make sure you say, read you loud and clear on frequency 100.1. So go ahead and try it again. Excellent. And then Johnson, go ahead and do yours with Collins. Alright, yep. So quick thing, make sure you guys say Roger out, not just say out, because then the person doesn't know if you heard them back or not. So that's why you say Roger, to make sure that the person who just spoke to you knows that you heard what they just said. And then also, you don't have to say I need a radio check, just say radio check. Because the person already knows that you need a radio check, so you gave them the frequency and you just told them radio check. So you don't have to say I need a radio check. All right, so everyone's confident on how to do their radio checks, correct? So from what I'm seeing, you guys are good with it. Yes, no, maybe. All right, awesome. Make sure you always give a response whenever I ask you guys a question. Yep. What about it? Yeah, you just that's all you have to say. Yeah, that's all you have to say. Hey, yep, yep. Awesome. Sorry, lost. PC class. What do you mean PC class? Dice. Yeah, go ahead and mm, you have to actually gonna have to actually restart your whole Armor 3. Uh, yeah. Uh, yeah, it says yes. Yeah. The Yeah, it's not showing that you're talking, but we could, yeah. But it's working from here. It just doesn't show you're talking. Yep. Yeah, but you're gonna need your radio more importantly for day 2 on Thursday. Alright, let me go to the back. It's not working. Yeah, they didn't put it on the tablet. You can talk from the back if you want. Okay. Yes, thank you. Well, what happens is when it starts overheating like that, your barrel will get jammed. I mean, sorry, the rounds will get jammed into your rifle or any web system you may have, such as the M249. So if you continue to shoot nonstop and don't give it a second for it to rest, which is why we use burst fire, what happens is that it will get to jam, and the only way to unclear that jam is either by pressing Shift Romeo or using your self interaction key. You don't use the 3 round. Yep, just follow standard SOP. I don't want you to get you guys caught using a 3 round and you get in trouble for it. Just stick with the single round. A recruit. Oh, Wilson, you're wrong. Channel. No, this is for OSUT, not recruit training. Continue going. I'll talk to him. Hey, recruit Lord or wherever. Let me see. 1 second. Yeah, recruit Lord. You're in the wrong channel. Oh, back. You still didn't move on to the next topic? Dang.
Hey, Frederick. Oh, I saw your message late, very late. I'm sorry, man. Hope you stay there. Be back within 3 minutes, I guess. Less than 4 seconds.
We need to continue. God, the questions. If you cook it, you're gonna give yourself a third-degree burn because if it blows off on you, just throw it.
That's it. Oh, do the formations now.
It just keeps every time someone connects in, it just keep on changing. Yes. I jump back on your feet. Use the scroll option and stand up. Alright, make way towards the door over here. You're gonna put your hard covers and your eye pro if you do have one, or any soft covers back on. Alright, go ahead, take it to Supply Sergeant over here real quick, and then I'm gonna get you. I want you to take your Rifleman loadout and make sure that you have the M136 heat. And the box just disappears. Alright. Alright, come on here. So I don't know what happened to the box. It was just in there. Come over here. Rifleman. You're welcome. Let's see, what time is it? Alright, we got time. You okay there, Wade? Alright, there we go. Alright, is everyone good with rates of fire, correct? Or unless you guys want to practice on that. Alright, let's go. Sergeant, and you press the 0 key. Come over here. Alright. Please tell me you're able to see weapons range complex when you look at the red flag. Alright, yep, go ahead to the weapons range complex. Alright, stand by. Y'all ready to blow some up? Where's the other one we missing? Oh, there we go, let's go. Yeah, what's up? Collins, probably. Okay. Alright, move further down where the box is at. Oh, you talking about, I think was it Shift in? No, probably isn't that. Shift P? No. Alright, get all line on the sandbags. Don't go to the box, get all line on sandbags. Come over to the right side, actually, guys. Alright, face forward. And make sure you guys put your MVGs in your backpack. That can be used in the meantime soon. X to crouch, Z to prone. if you're talking about to move with your rifle on your arm, is that what you're talking about? With your rifle in hand? Yeah. So yeah, basically move with your rifle on your arm then, yeah. Alright, well you crouch by pressing X right now if you need to. But in front of you is basically Mhm. One second, Sergeant. If you guys got your magazines in your rifle, make sure you put in your backpack. Above your whiskey or your echo key. Now you wouldn't be normally losing your AT4 on a small truck like that, but this is for demonstration purposes, gentlemen. Now, if you're wondering how to bring out your bearing, just press the kilo key and it should bring up your compass. And then if you want to get an accurate bearing, press your hotel key and it should bring up your micro dagger. Your hotel key. Well, we don't use the mini-map mostly for our immersion purposes, but you could use it if you want to.
There's actually targets out there. You just have to look. The one's right in front of me? It's about 300 meters. Alright, moving it right now. Bless you. Alright, let's see. Which one I need to move up? Is that closer? All right, which one did you bring me up? I put them in levels. I meant by row, so then that way we clear out the first row. I'll bring up the next one. Brought them closer. Hey, Margiata. It should be at least all of them about at least less than 200 meters. Make sure they are. Okay, there's some more 84 back here in the box right there, and there's some Moss rockets right here as well. If they want to use that as well. Yep, gotcha. Yep, there's some Moss rockets in the box. Code. Oh, and my game crashed. You got to do that. Yep, it does that when I open up our Z's multiple times.
Now I'm gonna end it here. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys later on.
I think it landed short.
Don't come with that bullshit.
That backblast hurt me, by the way.